Sounds good. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Lauren.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's finally fall in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Today is officially, right? The first day of fall?
I think so.
Yeah. That's
Rainy,
crazy.
gloomy out here.
It fits today's weather.
Okay, but the good news is this episode we're doing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Thank God.
Oh, my God. So excited.
It was so exciting.
Sorry,
for them to
Below
come back.
Deck. You have been dropped.
Yeah. Below Deck, jettison. We're not going to talk about that anymore. I can't even tell
See you later, Ian.
Sandy's proposal. No idea what happened there. We're moving on.
We don't care.
And then we're also going to talk about Real Housewives of OC, still going strong, love it. And then we're going to touch on Real Housewives of Dubai reunion in the final moments.
Final episode of season 2, right? That was only season 2 ever of Dubai, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So first thing, Jessica, I would love to hear your thoughts on the opening that took place. You did. I kind of didn't like it either.
No. I don't like, this is a reality show. I don't like that was clearly scripted.
Yes.
They gave everyone their lines.
Yes.
No. And again, Heather being like the main moderator. No. I didn't like it.
No. I also felt like it was like a lot of nonsense talk. Like, what are you talking about? What are we...
It was too overly dramatic for the situation. I was like, okay, this is women in Utah. Let's calm down. Like,
you know what was so funny? I showed my husband the opening, and he said it seemed very like a superhero movie where it's like the villain becomes the villain, or Batman looks out over the city. Like, it's like, what are we? I don't understand what we're doing here.
Maybe they were leaning into then the later convo of I'll be your villain.
Well, hopefully it makes more sense later on. I feel like
don't do it again.
I saw on Bravo's Instagram like something like we killed that opening, right? And I was like, I didn't. I had strong disagree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But we're back, and so just to time check everybody, it's like we're 3 months after the reunion, which I think
they're pretty quick.
Yeah,
they like get it going.
But I think that's somewhat important because to me, Jessica, like the cast was very split between who had stuff going on and who didn't during that time period.
Yeah,
who was still stuck in like some of the comments from the reunion, and who clearly was like had moved on, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Lisa's Bezos party.
I will give her credit. I liked that it was called Bezos. Like, I liked that it wasn't Galentine's.
Right.
My Galentine's. I was like, Bezos. I like it.
And so she shows up. It's interesting because she has everybody bring a friend, which I thought was seamlessly working in the newbies, which was nice.
Okay. Yep. I didn't even think about that. That was clearly their casual way of Heather being like, I brought Brittany.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, Heather's Brittany. What do you think about the newbies? Let's just jump right into that. So
Brittany is like prime example of the work she's had done makes her look older.
Yeah.
I was like taken aback by her face.
Jessica, the Bezos party Brittany versus the confessional Brittany. I'm like, damn, girl, did you like have work done?
Or are they putting a filter on you in the confessional?
Right. The skin and the face looked a lot different.
It just really like overdone Botox and filler. I just was a little like, whoa. It was a little jump scare when I saw her.
Her vibe and style to me is reading as new Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like, that's rude to say, but I'm sorry. Real Housewives of Salt Lake, like, you come... The fashion is on point. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're all wearing not just a label, but they're wearing like the latest fashion of that label. As noted by all of their outfits coming in, right? All of the hard outfits. And I feel like Brittany's vibe, I'm like, you're too novice. You look too novice in this. Yeah. You got to come with a little more.
And as much as I liked her like bluntness to Mary, almost like, well, if you're going to be blunt, I can like give it right back. But it was just so foot in mouth.
Yes.
The costume comment to Bronwyn.
Right.
And then the thing about growing up poor or whatever. And Mary's like, I didn't say I grew up poor. Brittany's like, well, you would understand if you grew up poor.
Yeah. It was not a good start.
No.
Also, I think I would have called Bronwyn's outfit a costume too.
Yep. It's funny. I saw quite a few of the Bravo accounts did little like quizzes. Do you consider her outfit? Costume was winning by 73% in the one I took, and I clicked costume.
The only thing that would have
You just don't say it to the person.
No, right. And the only thing that would have given it away is Mary Cosby was talking to her, which I think Mary Cosby knows fashion because she's got so much moolah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be the only thing that would have ticked me off is like, why is Mary having such a pleasant conversation with that newbie?
With the newbie.
And it'd be like, oh, maybe she's wearing something expensive. That would be the only thread I could pull together. But even that, I don't think I would have gotten there on it.
Did you see, do not listen or look out for it, but of course it pops up in my algorithm, 2 T's in a pod, Teddy and Tamra. They were discussing Salt Lake. Did you see that Teddy mentioned that she found a heart-shaped jacket like that is sold at Walmart?
Oh, really? I have seen a couple of knockoff versions of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was disgusting. I mean, it's just not my style at all.
No. And you know how they love showing, in all the previews, they showed Bronwyn walking in with that jacket. That is a clip. They kept, introducing, the newbie, da-da-da-da. It makes more sense to me now that she was going to a Valentine's party.
Right.
When I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is that woman wearing?
Yeah.
Not that I like it, but again, it went a little bit more with theme.
With the theme.
So I understood it a little more.
Right. Okay, so Angie and Mary walk in with their matching purses.
What do you think of their friendship?
I mean, to me, it's not shocking with Mary that this has happened. Angie, I'm over already this season, Jessica.
Yeah, trying too hard.
I feel like her confessional she has lines that are clearly written for her at this point. Yeah.
She's pre-planned.
And I feel like it's Mary may like her, so maybe that's what causes something with Meredith. Mary always needs, I feel like she always needs kind of the life raft because she gets along with so few people.
Yeah, she needs her ally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems totally a friendship of convenience.
Yeah.
Mary needs something from Angie, and I think Angie is, to her core, a people pleaser. So the second she got, a little attention from Mary, it was, latching on, and now she's going to be Mary's best bud.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's too weird of a friendship.
I agree. And, I mean, I don't know why Mary's back, to be honest.
Why? She acts like she hates being there. Granted, I keep hearing Andy say she is clocked in this season. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to see a different Mary. But every time I'm like, you seem miserable.
Right.
Every season before, and you still come back.
Right.
Why?
Right. I agree.
And she tries to act better than it. That's what I think pisses me off.
Yeah.
Where I'm you're not Mary, and clearly you like this. So stop acting like you're above being a real housewife.
I love that Angie mentions that they showed up with their matching purses. I think those were both Hermes. It's hugely expensive.
Did one buy one for the other, or they just both happened to have it? Okay.
I don't know. I thought the looks, I mean, I don't know why there was so much emphasis on the fashion, but the looks were also very lowbrow, highbrow. Angie's big ass heart earrings.
Yeah.
Those were tacky. Those were from H&M, Jess.
Really?
Yes. Those were not those were not designer. And then you have Bronwyn's heart thing, which is, super expensive, YSL. And then you have Heather coming in.
Heather's skin tight pleather with 3D squeezable hearts.
I've been watching Heather's Instagram, and she's doing a lot with her girls at college.
Oh.
And I will say, you still have to act even though you're thin, Heather, you need to act your age. Jessica, she's doing I forget where her daughter went to college. I think it's somewhere
in California, Southern California, yeah.
Southern California. And she's wearing NFL jersey with no pants or shorts underneath, as a dress. With boots.
Yeah.
And I'm Heather, you're not 20, but you're not. And I'm so happy for Heather that she has lost that weight, which obviously is Ozempic. That's not let's just call it. Yeah. It's not through hard work and diet. There's a little help there. But I also think it's Heather, no. You're still, how old? Mid-40s. Well, let's talk about that. So I'm jumping around, but Bronwyn. So we hear basically she married her husband at age 28 and he was 54, I wrote.
Yeah, they have a 27 or 28 year age gap. Yeah.
First of all, the Mormons with their age gaps.
Yeah.
It's shocking. We both watched the real Secret
Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah, and they all got married super young.
Yeah.
Sometimes to older men.
Some are closer in age, but there's a few age gaps on that show too.
But a 54-year-old marrying a 28-year-old, just I think it would have a hard time stomaching a wedding of that. Like, seeing that. And
I think she said she already had a daughter.
Oh, really?
Did you catch that? I think her daughter was from a previous relationship.
I thought it was that the husband had two, and then she had a daughter with him.
Okay, yeah. I'm not 100% if the daughter is their child together or that she came into the marriage with the daughter and they don't have any biological kids together.
I don't know.
But yeah,
it seems Mormon-y to get pregnant very young, too.
Yes, based on that show.
It's just so weird because I feel like that religion, for the sake of religion, clouds like things that in this day and age, we would all be like, that's like borderline, like gross.
Yeah. Ugh. And they showed a photo. It's like not even a good looking 65.
No.
Like not at all.
No.
Okay, we got to get into Meredith Whitney. And also, can we comment? I know Angie did have a decent line that I'm not sure if it was like scripted for her ahead of time. But Meredith is in a new rental home. Again. I think we're 1 for 1 every season. It's a different house. I don't think she's been in the same house.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I read online that she basically doesn't live in Salt Lake. Because her kids are in New York, her husband's in Ohio, so she rents the house for the season.
So she like got cast.
Yeah.
And this is her home base.
Right. Which
probably
that
fully
makes
furnished.
Right. That makes a ton more sense, right? That like
I know it makes me mad. I want these women to truly, like we talked about that. I hate when there's the allegations that someone was cast and they moved to said city. No, stop doing that. Like,
right.
But don't get me wrong, Meredith Marks and she has the store there, so like she has a presence. So I'll let that one slide. But.
Right. I agree, but let's talk about Meredith for a second. Like, Meredith fully, to me, reads as someone who is, like, not done very much since the reunion. Yes, other than she got her breast reduction, which was so odd. And her lips look huge.
Oh, my God. I noted that. When she was in the bed kind of recuperating, talking to Heather, I was like, holy lips. They were the largest. Was she like, while I'm under, just expand the lips while you're at it? Or was she like... She's inflamed.
And I love how the Housewives do this, where they talk about like one surgery very openly when like the other one is
others are more glaring. Wouldn't have noticed her boob reduction, like would not have noticed. But like,
but
we talk about the
overlined Kylie Jenner lips. I'm like, yeah,
they were huge.
You got something else done too, Meredith. Do you want to talk about that? It
looks so uncomfortable. Like it looks like they're gonna burst.
I know.
Can't.
So Meredith comes into the party, and I feel like she's the most. She is. Who is her friend? Heather.
Yeah, which I like kind of forgot they were friendly.
Right. But I don't think anyone else, Jessica.
Wasn't she sort of reconciled with Lisa?
Barlow?
Or does that happen this season? I think they get closer.
I feel like reconciled, but arm's distance. Mary and her clearly are not going to be good this season.
They're not going to be good, but they might still be okay right now. And then she clearly has beef with Whitney.
And then Angie.
Oh, yeah.
So this is all just to say Meredith's actions at the party felt the most for TV possible. Yes. The bath bomb comment.
I know. I go back and forth on Meredith Marks where I'm like, is she just amazing TV that the stuff she fixates on is so stupid?
Right.
Or does she literally have nothing else? And like you said, like she comes in and you're like, are you actually mad about that?
Right. Well, and Winnie, I don't think is very smart. I do think I'm someone who like, I always talk about if somebody's smart or not in my brain, which is probably got to stop there. But Whitney, I don't think she's the cleverest, shrewdest businesswoman, but the fact that she calls Meredith out that she's always had bath bombs.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, Meredith.
If that's accurate, then you got nothing to stand on, Meredith.
Like move to the side. You're done.
Right.
You know? And Meredith's like, how dare you start bath bombs, Whitney, when I sat in the reunion and
said I was.
But she didn't, Jessica. She had the epiphany. It seemed like she had the epiphany live.
Right. Like that might be a good business thing for me.
And then she never did it.
Yeah. And I hate when the Housewives like claim something as their territory. I don't know. I'm trying to I distinctly remember Bethany getting so mad at Sonia coming out with that wine. And she's like, I have Skinny Girl. Like, how dare you? And it's like, how many Housewives have a freaking alcohol brand? You know what I mean? And then Meredith was trying to go, I have jewelry. Now Whitney has jewelry. It's like, There's only so many things you housewives can hawk.
Right.
There's going to be overlap. So don't, and fine. I know Meredith became known for the bath. That was like her thing this previous season. So whatever, the bath bomb. But again, if Whitney already had him, you got nothing.
But I also think, Meredith, like, get your own bath line out there. Like, it's been 3 months, Jessica. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think the bath line would have been that hard to do. I think it makes sense with Meredith. It's like, Whitney has one bath bomb and you're like sitting there like mad about it. Like, get your line together, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. She felt the most staged for me, but
well, come on. Angie was
not
most staged with the scroll.
What did you think of the scroll?
This is where I go. I really go back and forth because a lot of the stuff I was seeing after the premiere aired was people were like, Salt Lake, just absolute top tier, fighting about bath bombs, the scroll, but all of that seemed so staged to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're funny, but then I go, this isn't how people really act.
Yeah, right.
No woman is going to a big women dinner party and doing that.
Right.
I just want true cat fights that are about things that like are bothering them and real in their life.
Yeah, right.
I just don't like the theatrics.
Yeah, I thought the scroll, everyone who loves there's a lot of Angie stans out there, which I'm like not a fan of her at all.
Don't love her.
And everyone who loves Angie was saying, oh, the scroll was iconic. I'm like, I feel like it was giving like Drag Race prop. Like, I like, and then even Mary, who has that little quote of like, Angie had to do this with the scroll and
she had to glue that together. She had to write on it.
She's like, she's a hard worker.
And then she goes, she must have had too much time on her hands. Yeah.
I mean, so Angie, again, another one that I feel like, what has Angie done since the reunion? Nothing really.
Nothing. Sit and stewed and became friends with Mary.
Right. And then she's put together the scroll.
Which for all we know, the Mary friendship happened 1 week before filming began.
Did you catch how the scroll had one thing
blurred out?
So Angie brought the scroll to Salt Lake City premiere, premiere.
Okay.
And it wasn't blurred out. And it just said something along the lines of like, you basically suggested my 25-year-old business was fraudulent. Like I had fraud going. And for some reason, I was on this Reddit post and I was trying to figure out, everyone's like, why did they blur that? But they thought maybe the producers just thought better to take that out.
Start a lawsuit.
Yes, especially with the Jen Shaw of it all. And like, I don't know, but that was not blurred. And so they moved from like kind of all meeting at the Bezos party to then moving to dinner, right?
That's where all hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose. What can only be really categorized as like the Whitney gang up, I would say. At one point, Jessica, they were all ganging up on her, and she said, but Lisa, what does grace look like to you, or something like that? I'm like, Whitney, we can't go like existential, like in the heat of an argument where people are suggesting you're a liar. Like, can you just stay on task?
No, I
stay
totally
on
forgot
topic.
when she said that, and then people were trying to say to her, but like Whitney, just because you're on this journey doesn't mean others are, so you can't assume and expect. Yeah, kind of like her saying about grace and all that. Ugh, I mean, Whitney bothers me.
Whitney annoys me as well.
And she just seems like a lone ranger. She said even like she moved houses. By the way, thought that was her exact house. From the outside, it like showed the front and it was like, I bought a new house. And I was like, that isn't the same. The inside looked different once she had.
All those, even the Real House, Secret Lives of Mormon.
They're all these like brand new farmhouse sort of
they
builds
all look kind of
in these planned communities. Oh my God, they are all identical. And Whitney fits the mold too of like the Mormon. She could just be on Mom Talk.
Oh, you know who is on Whitney's side is Angie, because she went and told Whitney all that like stuff.
That's true.
So what's the breakdown? You have Angie, Mary by default, though Mary doesn't like Whitney, and Whitney versus Heather, Lisa, Meredith. And then the two kind of will fit in.
Assumingly Bronwyn's team Lisa, because that's one that I think they truly are friends before. This isn't Heather and Brittany. I don't believe that's true friendship.
No.
Heather got tasked with the say Brittany's your friend and bring her to the Bezos party. Don't think we have a lot of history between those two.
No, with Dolores knockoff, she got tasked with bringing her into the show. The one thing I will say, Jess, is like it does feel a little forced, some of their drama, but I just think these women come so prepared and like kind of ready to bring it,
yeah.
which I guess is better than other franchises who hope to God that the editors spin gold out of these storylines.
Or there are a lot of other like franchises where people like hate the conflict and back away, and you're like, that isn't really gonna work.
Right,
like, you don't get to keep getting up and leaving during the hard convo.
These women are like, I know what my conflict is, and I'm gonna talk about it.
Locked and loaded. Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about it
ad nauseum.
Yeah,
we're gonna hear about it. Did you catch Lisa throwing the drink?
Yeah,
but it was in a plastic cup, so it really didn't have the same effect.
She also like stood up. She put like her finger in Whitney's face.
Shattered glass.
I'm like, Lisa, why are you getting so mad about a podcast?
It was so dumb. And I just was like, my last thing I like wrote down was, this is supposed to be Lisa's girlfriends supporting girlfriends, and there is screaming at one another.
I know. The only other final thing is, I don't know if you knew this, but Lisa is like a sponsor of Diet Coke and Wendy's.
I've seen some ads.
And then did you see her with the Wendy's in the opening shot, like eating Wendy's at the counter?
No, I didn't even catch that.
Okay, so
now we're doing product placement.
Yes, Jessica. I'm like, and Bravo better be getting a cut from that, because this is so obvious and weird.
Yeah.
Lisa Barlow at BravoCon came to her, like, whatever, Q&A session that she was going to with a Wendy's cup. It's product placement big time. It's not just a subtle.
Wendy's are not like that common. Like, I'm trying to think where there is one in the city of Chicago. You know what I mean?
There's one right there.
Oh, is there? Oh my God, I can see.
But other than that, I'm just like, we've never seen a housewife do this where they so thoroughly flaunt their corporate America.
Their own product. Yeah, but.
And then I think next episode they go through a Wendy's. Jessica, it's giving a little manufactured, the whole thing.
Yes.
We hope we get some authenticity.
Yeah, like completely different than Kyle Cook with Loverboy at a party. That is his product.
Right.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, that's so weird. Okay, I'm going to be watching for it now next week.
Real Housewives of OC is next.
Yes.
So Real Housewives of the OC had... I feel like it was a little bit of a transition episode. It was not, there was not as much newness to it. We're kind of rehashing some of the same stuff, and people are living their lives a little more. I feel like, so they're back from Sonoma, and they all kind of have recapping conversations of Sonoma.
Yeah. Because like they kind of play like Shannon's like, I had to leave early. What did I miss?
Yeah. And Gina's recapping the fact that Heather has brought her nothing in real estate, which I think is like a valid point to bring up. Like, Emily, Jen, Katie, they're talking about, I guess Jen's now we're getting a little bit more of Jen with her family drama.
Family stuff with her son.
So let's unpack this for 1 second. So Jen went on Jeff Lewis's podcast, and she talked about how in the divorce settlement she got a chunk of change, and then she's getting $6,000 a month, which she's been open about for 5 kids, which people are saying is not enough. And then her ex-husband is now having trouble paying that.
Oh, great.
But Jessica, it's very obvious why he's having trouble paying that, because he worked at her dad's business, and then got serendipitously fired. Not serendipitously, but coincidentally fired when they started getting divorced. So can the dad just hire him back so that way he can make the $6,000 a month child support to the daughter?
No, that's
like it's all like small town, like web of lies. It's like, of course he can't. If the dad fires him, of course he can't make the payments to the daughter. And he's living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
I know. When the son said that, I was like, what? Yeah.
Emily also brings forward her kind of subconscious or conscious
very conscious
of why Heather did not tell her to wear the black pants.
Emily's entire thing, at first, I was like, you know what? I can sympathize. I'm like waiting. I'm kind of like, okay. She's like making her points. But she really lost me when she talked about Alexis and her in the same dress. Cut to Emily wearing dress, fits her like a glove. So let's not be mad that it was a size 12 because it fit ya. Like, but you know what I mean? I mean, I've been mad too at what a tag said, but if it fit me, I guess I'm that size and that brand.
Yeah. I mean, so Heather said that. Did you catch that Heather said that?
Like, it fits you perfectly, yes.
But Jessica, oh my gosh, I felt like it was like Emily's like, I'm not a size 12, and then Heather said that, well, it fit her. I think Heather is missing the point kind of massively with all this.
I agree.
But Emily's also like driving a bus to nowhere. It's kind of like, make the point and move on.
I agree. Heather went instantly defensive, so wasn't getting the point of it. But Emily wasn't landing the plane on why she was mad, because she kept saying, I know it wasn't malicious. Mm-hmm. So you're admitting Heather didn't do this to be mean. So you're just telling her how hurt you were and want her to know that she should think more about her friends that are not size zeros? What do you want from Heather?
Yeah, right. It's a tough situation. I do think this is just where Heather to me just reads as so not empathetic or self-aware.
Yeah.
So it leaves me being on Emily's side, even though I do think Emily is kind of grasping at straws. Yeah. She also has a testosterone pellet in her butt. I wanted to ask you, what would that be for?
I don't know. I was so confused by that. And I mean, Emily was even making the jokes is someone with my temperament going to be good with more testosterone? Is that going to make me angry?
But was that for health?
I'm
working
assuming it was either for health or she had some kind of imbalance that maybe, I meant to Google, why would you get that?
In your butt.
In your butt.
I know there was some Olympic athletes have tried to get away with that. Testosterone pellets. Gotta
show up in a urine.
Oh, of course got disqualified.
Your testosterone's just off the charts. Yeah.
Actually, one from Illinois, which I will not name his name, but you can Google it.
Oh.
And he was disqualified because he had testosterone pellets put into his pec. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So they do something. So GLAAD Awards. Then we kind of go to that. It's interesting to me because Heather gets a lot of airtime at the GLAAD Awards, and then you remember Meredith Marks actually went to the GLAAD Awards.
Yeah, well, they presented together. Yeah,
but she went and they don't trailer with a real camera.
Yeah,
her time at the GLAAD Awards, I felt was to give reason why she wasn't with the main.
Wasn't filming.
Heather's gets the storyline out of it.
Oh, I just roll my eyes though. Heather is just. It's one of those where it's always better for someone to do charitable work and to donate, but good Lord, Heather and Terry want you to know they did it.
Yeah.
And then, bidding on the bottle. Oh, that's the most expensive bottle.
Wasn't it $60,000?
Or maybe I misheard. I thought it was $6,500. But
okay.
Still, that bottle's $60. So,
right.
Yeah, to spend $6,500 on it, they made a nice upcharge. But then when she's like, Oprah's there, and she is such a name dropper.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was pleased. What I was trying to say earlier too is I just don't think I think Meredith is in the cause as much as Heather is, but they both handle themselves differently. Mm-hmm. So I was happy Meredith got another round at the GLAAD Awards.
Being shown.
Yeah, because I just feel the first time it was more of a blip.
Yeah.
And then Alexis is also there. Alexis keeps inferring that our kids are going through the same thing, but we don't hear details.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Privacy.
With the Jim Bellino divorce. Because her kids are still all minors, aren't they? Mm. Yeah, so they're not on camera.
Yeah, I just wish she would give us a teeny bit more detail on it. Anyway, so then we go to candle making. Man, if I thought the biscuits and the sound bath in the forest were boring activities, the candle making, I'm just I cannot.
Well, I just cannot with trying to make Katie's daughter and Tamara's daughter seem like they'd be friends. Could they not seem more opposite in personality and probably what they're into?
And Katie's daughter is beautiful.
Yes. What are you implying?
Tamara's daughter is beautiful, but that dark hair
is not it.
Not it. She looks much better with blonde.
In that confessional. And wasn't it interesting? We got the 2-daughter confessional.
Yeah. Okay, so then Vicky and Shannon, we cut to their little low budge.
What? I was wondering. I haven't looked it up. What do you think their show? What is the ticket price for those shows?
First of all, what is the show called again? Just like Shannon and Vicky.
Shannon and Vicky, I think, is the creative name they came up with when Tres Amigas had to be dismantled.
And then they kind of said like, oh, we've sold out. And I thought it was going to be like this kind of big arena. And it was like...
It's like a tiny little comedy club.
Yes.
Dark little... In St. Louis.
I think they're not more than $30 to $40.
Okay. I said I would max pay $40.
It seems super do-it-yourself.
Yeah.
It seems... so odd that Vicky's saying, I want to take a shot of tequila, and Shannon is like, I'll sip the tequila.
I know.
It seems like a variety show that's like, they're literally like making up the night before.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that this is a moneymaker for them, Jessica.
Yeah. The slingshot, I was like, here we go, with them acting like they're all clumsy.
Right.
I hate that. I was like, stop acting like you're about to fly over when you do a slingshot.
Yes. And so to just give an example, right, we're going to the Giggly Squad.
Yes.
Which it's Paige and Hannah Berner.
Yep.
I mean, first of all, they had to move the venue because it was so big.
So they got a bigger venue in Milwaukee.
And I feel like the Milwaukee venue that we're going to is like for a show.
Yeah.
Jessica. It's like for like a...
They've sold out Radio City Music Hall in New York and have added a second show and sold it out again.
Yeah. I mean, it's like crazy.
It's
Jax was at their last show.
Yep,
I just saw this.
In Cali that they were out.
So Vicky, and how are they making money on this?
I know.
After you fly, probably business class to St. Louis, and you sell at the smallest comedy club possible. Like,
I'm assuming the venue puts up your travel, and I don't know how that works.
Maybe write it off. Yeah, it seems small potatoes, big time.
I mean, they mentioned merch, but like, I guess if you're willing to pay to go, maybe you're willing to pay for a stupid sweatshirt.
Well, I think that would be the only thing worthwhile.
Maybe they're making some money on some merch tables.
But did you catch the merch? It just says Vicky and
with
Shannon.
Their faces.
Vicky and Shannon. That's literally what the merch says.
I know, it's so dumb.
Okay, so then we cut to Jen, who's back in the storyline, and she's having the convo with her son.
It just felt a little like came out of nowhere. Like, I feel like we've barely seen her children. And then it was like, let's show Jen having a tough parenting moment.
I know.
I think it's the typical, her son just seems like the typical 17-year-old teenage boy who doesn't want rules. This isn't like groundbreaking.
We're not sitting here, right. We're not watching, remember Lori on Real Housewives OC who had that huge problem with her son?
Her son died of an
overdose.
Made it.
Yeah. Like, that was like, okay, really intense. This is like, you came home, you broke curfew. Like, why are we making this a story? Anyway, so she's kind of doing that. We're clearly going to get more from Ryan. Maybe there's something that connects back to Ryan with this whole thing.
Yeah.
But then at Ryan's house, she has the party, which is where we end the episode. So first of all, Ryan's house is huge, which is shocking to me still.
And Tamara pees on the cement
floor. Oh, God, that was ridiculous. Of course,
because she has to do something wacky.
So let's start with Alexis. Alexis, I read, so Alexis is like all out of sorts. She went on social media and posted all about how it was like edited poorly.
Stuff's been edited about her life.
It's like, I don't think they've edited out like massively different.
My like favorite part of the episode was Emily calling her a wackadoodle.
Yeah.
Because like it just needed to be said.
Right.
Alexis is losing her mind.
And it's like, what could doesn't matter what you said or like what you thought you didn't say or whatever, like you still looked cray cray.
Yeah.
You still looked like you were making that about yourself.
Because she was.
Yeah. I think what happened, Jessica, this is my hot take, is that John actually got pissed at her about talking too much about the videos. Yes. And then
he's like, that really backfired.
Yes. And now it's kind of heating up legally because of these videos. And he was kind of like, you don't say my stuff on TV. And I think then she got it like weepy about it and basically was like, this is causing problems for me. And now is playing the victim on it. Right.
Yeah. Nope. I think that is a very good synopsis of what probably happened.
Okay. And then Heather, also, I want to go back to this. She talks about that capsule collection, which we talked about last time. it's coming out as a line. She said it's coming out as a line.
I mean,
Jessica.
How much was that of like a Fed thing when Tamara's like, Heather, when is your collection with what's her
Susan
face?
Bender.
SB, HB and SB. Susan Bender coming out, and then that perfectly queued up Emily to talk about the clothing.
How can that be a line, Jessica?
We have to Google it.
You said last time, you're like, how is that a line? And I'm like, oh, it's just a capsule collection. Like, it will be one and done. No, that's a line that's coming out in stores.
Oh my God.
Anyway, and then finally, I mean, we've already talked about the Emily versus Heather kind of drama.
But my one thing was, how drunk do you think Emily is? I think she's pretty intoxicated during that fight. She seems not her normal self.
Yeah.
With like making her points.
Right. A little too aggressive.
That's kind of been her MO. But yeah, something seemed off. I was like, I actually think she might be kind of drunk during this.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Emily's had that it happened before where she gets too drunk on an empty stomach. I mean, we've not seen them eat food at this house.
No,
really.
Very true.
At Jen's house.
She's having slushy margaritas.
Yeah, right.
So much sugar.
The one thing I'll say is Heather, at the very tail end, uses the family. She uses something along the lines of like, I was raising money for family equality and you're making this about you. It's so classic Heather Dubrow, Jessica, to like be like...
Yeah, she's next going to have a sit down next week. I'm just making this up, but with Emily and being like, Emily, I don't know if you know how much that affected my children.
Yeah, exactly. My family, because the family equality was about...
You took the attention off my 3 children
that
are going through this.
Yeah. The moral high ground is a coming on this whole situation.
Yes. Heather never misses an opportunity to bring the moral high ground up.
No. Anyway, Real Housewives of OCs, it's a little more of a transitional episode, I would say. Like, we're seeing more like montage of life versus, big knockdown, drag out stuff.
Again, I think that's what I appreciate, that I realize within a season, you need that. Mm-hmm. It proves to me they are living their lives. Right. It's not all so staged. So I don't hate it. Yeah, it's never like my highlight episode, but you're like, okay, this is just life. This is what they're going on. That is how this show started.
Totally. Okay, so let's go to Real Housewives of Dubai.
Reunion, part 2, and finale.
Final, thank God. We're still like dealing with some Talene Brooks drama. What I loved about this is Andy came in kind of with some receipts throughout this entire episode, which I would love to see more of. Jessica, first of all, he said to Brooks very clearly, like, Talene has apologized here, she's apologized here, and she's apologized here.
Yeah.
Love that.
I know. He's so team Talene. It's obvious. Yes.
But then he also later on in the episode beams in the producer in his ear who says something like Lisa knew the voice note was going to be played or whatever.
Yep.
And
he is so team the couch to his right.
Yes. But I also think I kind of love this idea that like it's a little more like beaming in the producer. Yes. You know what I mean?
Stop letting them sprout these lies. We have footage.
Right.
I love cutting to the footage.
I love it.
And making one of them put their freaking foot in their mouth.
Yes. I agree. And I feel like we've talked about this before, like we're just getting more drips and drabs of like producer intervention. Mm-hmm. I don't mind it. I love it. As long as it holds people accountable.
Yes.
So then I'm like, in my mind, I was thinking, Jess, I'm like, how is this episode going to be even 45 minutes? Because it's like we've already covered almost everything. So they take a big break and then they're filming in between people at the break. They all go into their dressing rooms. I love, Caroline Stanberry undoes her dress and is sitting there with the back open.
And she has a cockroach trap stuck
That is so gross.
Disgusting. They were like, oh, we're not in Dubai anymore.
But I was like, oh, this is how we're going to fill the time. We got to film a little in between the,
the actual sitting out on the couches.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. And then the ending, really the kind of some of the culmination is that they talk about Lisa's branding at the Mina Rose Spa.
Yes.
In my mind, this is so stupid.
It's so dumb, but one of the biggest things that clearly I don't like Brooks, but that made me go, this is even dumber. Did you catch that Lisa, this was obviously early on and it was not a filmed thing. Lisa goes, myself and Chanel weren't even invited to your spa opening party. So you excluded someone in the group, and then probably 6 weeks later, if whatever the filming schedule is, maybe 2 months later, they're having an event and you're pissed they're not doing it at your spa that you didn't invite them to.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm like, Brooks, you're so dumb. Like, you have no leg to stand on with
I'm not sure why they're so mad that she branded so much as Mina Rose.
I don't get it either.
I mean, you're on TV. I would put up Mina Rose over everything. I would have a tattoo of it, like, on my shoulder. So
okay, Heather Dubrow, calm down.
Yeah. Like, I would just, I mean, I get why she did it. It's so weird that they get so worked up about that.
Yeah, I think Brooks was just leaning into the, like, you're trying to make this look like a Mina Rose spa. Spas are my thing.
Oh.
That's what I was taking from why she cared so much about the branding.
Yeah. I mean, it's giving Meredith Marks bath bomb. It's like, It's a little like, this is thin.
I am actually Team Lisa on this one.
This is thin. Yeah. I love, so Andy has a couple of comments too, kind of during this. He says to Brooks, like, I watch shows I don't work on. Like, he was relating it to, like, spa services that you don't necessarily need to go get it. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
And then Lisa also is bringing out the random journal of Caroline Stanberry, and Andy says, is this going to land?
He was so already, like, I think annoyed at Lisa Milan. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Sorry, can we, like, rewind? When does Stanberry sell journals? I didn't even understand the connection. Was this some product she was selling on Instagram?
Yeah, I think she well, remember Ladies of London,
back to the gift lab.
I think she must have little trinkets that she kind of merch that she peddles.
Yeah,
you know?
And again, I mean, I just love, like, Stanberry is how, granted, doesn't make amazing TV, but she is how every housewife, like, should react when someone is coming at you so hard, and you're just, like, very calmly. It's like you don't rise to the occasion, and it, like, pisses the other person off. Because Stanberry the whole time was going, because Lisa's like, plagiarism. Stanberry's like, I never claimed to have wrote that journal. Like, if quotes were the same or something.
Yeah, right.
She's like, never said I wrote it, so your point is invalid.
I know, and I just think these housewives, when they bring the props to the reunion, very little do they land. Remember the burn book from Monica? That burn book had so much potential, Jessica, and it was so flat.
Yeah. But the one that did land, Talene's gift to Brooks. That one landed, if you ask me.
I didn't totally get exactly what it was referencing, but it was like...
So, you remember earlier on in the season, and then it became more of a Twitter thing happening while the season was airing, but Brooks was saying, like, Talene, you were begging me to get on the season, and Talene wrote back, like, whatever, you were begging for my wardrobe season 1. Like, you didn't even have the nice enough clothes or stuff to use. And so Brooks tweeted back, I would love to see one shred of evidence or an article of clothing of Talene's I wore. Talene gifted Brooks the green dress that was hers, and then she had a big thing of Brooks wearing it on season 1. So she goes, you said you wanted one article that you borrowed of mine.
That makes
Here
sense.
it is. And even Andy was like, okay, now that's how we do it. Like,
so shady.
And I don't know if you caught when Brooks opened the thing. I think she saw it really quick and was like, this is stupid. And, like, she tried to stop opening it.
Oh, really?
And then did you notice Sarah kind of took the box and kept pulling it out?
Oh, was it the green dress?
Yeah.
Oh.
So right away Brooks was like, oh, fuck, I know what this is. And was like, this is dumb. And, like, didn't open it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, she knew she was caught.
So funny. Well, good job, Talene. I mean, that one landed.
Yep.
Friend of.
And did you notice Saba not even friend? Is that the first time a friend of didn't even get to come out for a segment? I don't think we've ever had that before.
Yeah.
Doesn't a friend of always get to make an appearance of
I
some
don't
sort?
know, but I mean, Alexis's friend of.
She'll for sure come out at the reunion.
Yeah, 100%.
She's also a way more involved friend of than
Jessica,
normal.
she's more involved than, like, some of the current cast members are.
That's true. She's more than Tamra. Alexis is more of a storyline than Tamra is
Totally
this season.
agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah. So anyway, they're not gonna be able to come back with Dubai as Dubai stands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm fine with that.
I agreed.
Great.
Well, also I'll just say they don't have a BravoCon this year, which is also where I think some of these shows regenerate interest.
Yeah, or they kind of judge how much of a fandom is there.
A Tilleen, she would have needed a BravoCon. You know what I mean? Because she's, I mean, that would have been coming up here in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it would be in November usually. Right. Yeah.
So unfortunately, she's got to run on fumes until they come back with casting. Okay, let's move to what are the kids talking about these days?
Oh, right. Well, I don't know if this is specifically Gen Z, but just more of a young person thing because it took off on TikTok. Have you seen airport tray aesthetic? No? Okay. So the whole concept is that in the security line, when you have to like put things into the big stupid plastic tray, you like lay it out like your shoes, and then you have your purse and like your phone, your passport, and like lip gloss, like not just chucking what's in your pockets like into the tray.
Oh my God.
So I can show you some photos later of like examples, but everyone is just saying, oh my God, like as if the security line isn't bad enough. I don't need you art directing your stupid tray. Like put it through the scanner.
What are they saying? It's like, it's good to have that.
Like here's a photo of like a girl clearly packed all pink stuff so that it like looks pretty her tray.
But they're trying to say you need to have good airport tray aesthetic.
For the likes, for posting it and getting
If I saw
eyeballs.
someone doing that in front of me, I would be like, can you not?
I'd be like, I'm going around you. Like, this is taking too long. But basically, they were like, well, joke's on you because those airport trays have been wiped and tested. They're dirtier than toilet seats.
Oh, God.
So have fun laying all your things out
like
on them.
Your lip gloss tells you different generations where, like, millennials, I feel like our generation was how fast can you get through security?
Yeah, act like you've been here before.
Our badge of honor is getting through security the fastest out of anyone. Being able to take out the laptop, throw that thing down, get your bag on the counter, get your shoes off, and get through the like the scanner without it beeping.
Without it going off
That
on
is
you.
our badge of honor versus like Gen Z is like, I'm going to make sure that I get like this aesthetic right.
Yeah, I think it would be exhausting, and I'm so glad my brain doesn't go to how would this look on like Instagram.
Yeah.
I just never think
it's a tough life, I think, when you have
I know.
that going on.
I think there's like a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're seeing like mental health issues.
Yeah, right. Holy
like
cow.
they're putting this unnecessary pressure on themselves to be like perfect and look cool and how they act. Gosh. So just now keep your eyes peeled the next time you travel. I have not seen it in the wild, but I am waiting to see if I
hope to never see it. I would be embarrassed for the person. So what if you like messed it up? Just like stuck your hand in like, or like use use your tray to like bang into theirs.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were putting it into the machine. Hurry up.
Okay. Conspiracy theory time.
Yes.
So we have 2 conspiracy theories. Now I took a theme this week of when the conspiracy theorists have actually been right.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. So we have 2 conspiracy theories. If you go online and you go to any sort of algorithm and pull these up, the conspiracy theorists are loving Jessica that they've been right.
Okay. So, of course, who doesn't?
Right. And it's like very like them to like just completely gloss over all of the nuances and just say we were right. Okay. So
that part doesn't matter, that part, but the rest of it was right.
I missed out on 80% of the details, but I got the other 20. Okay, great. So Mark Zuckerberg, number one, he wrote a letter. This happened at the end of August. I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of news on it, but I found it now. He wrote a letter at the end of August to Judiciary Committee Chairman Rep. Jim Jordan. Okay. And in the letter, it's an open letter, he regrets that he basically said that the Biden administration put a lot of pressure on them to censor content about COVID. And Hunter Biden, laptop scandal ahead of the 2020 election. He said that basically the administration put a lot of pressure on them to censor stuff. He doesn't like that he was part of that. And in the future, he's not going to censor anything, politically or otherwise. Yeah. He did say that the FBI warned them that the Hunter Biden laptop scandal could have been a product of Russian disinformation. And so basically during the moment where he was fact-checking it or had fact-checkers, he de-promoted the story. And it was like a very critical moment that the story would have taken off like wildfire, excuse me. And so he basically like admits that they had a hand in that.
Okay.
Conspiracy theorists thought that.
Yep.
They thought the algorithm.
Interfering with the election, and it had to do with social media. Yeah.
And so he said, basically, my goal moving forward is to be neutral and not to play a role. And he would push back on any pressure if, I think he's kind of getting himself ready for potential election stuff where he's like, I'm not going to do that again. Okay. So that was number one.
Very interesting.
And everyone basically yelled,
I knew it,
at the top of their lungs in the conspiracy theory community.
Yes.
Conspiracy theory number 2 that they felt like they were right about is that there's a newly released report from the National Institute of Health that says fluoride in drinking water at twice the recommended limit is associated with lower IQ in children.
What?
So fluoride in the water is across everywhere in the United States. It was piloted as an experiment in the 1940s, and it has been hailed since then by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention as one of the public health's greatest success stories. So basically, they put the fluoride in the water, and it helped with teeth, it reduced cavities, etc. What they have found is if you have too much fluoride, so not if you just have a normal amount, if you have too much fluoride, it is traced to lower IQs in babies. They did this by testing a lot of pregnant women who were in communities where fluoride was higher. And through the testing of pregnant women and then subsequently their children, they could track that those who had higher fluoride had lower IQ children.
Do the parents also have lower IQ?
I don't know.
Isn't that kind of hereditary?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
And specifically, there was one woman, like they gave this as the example in the study, that she had one level of fluoride in the water for her son and one level of fluoride in the water for her daughter.
Because she like moved or like municipalities
or
I
think sometimes this fluoride can be somewhat dynamic, where it's not always the same amount.
We really pushed more out that year.
Right. And her son, but not her daughter's IQ score was significantly lower. Ooh. Of course, the conspiracy theorists are like, we knew it.
Yeah.
We knew fluoride in the water, any sort of forced chemical in the water is not what we should be doing. And they feel like they've been right about both those things, Jessica.
And so the fluoride benefits were really just mostly like dental stuff? Because I remember getting fluoride treatments at the dentist when I was
think
younger.
It was dental mostly. I don't think fluoride helps with anything else. I mean, they have one expert in all of this that says he doesn't even think fluoride should be in toothpaste, But anyway, I think it was originally for the teeth, and then basically it's harder to control than what they think, and there's certain areas that have a little more of it.
Yeah.
And now they're producing a report on it. So everyone is inflamed.
I've always wondered and felt like I was getting dumber as the years went on. Right. Maybe I am having too much fluoride.
That makes sense. Just kidding. No, that doesn't make sense. I think we're fine. I think there's worse things, right?
I mean, granted, they're only finding the link now, but I'm kind of like, does helping dental outweigh potentially lowering IQs? I think we gotta prioritize
but also,
IQ.
To your point, right? There's a lot of nature versus nurture of how your IQ could be lowered.
It's impossible to isolate this
to fully
test.
Right.
Yeah.
To that point, it's even hard to understand how they were able to do this, right? Other than this one woman who, one woman does not a study make. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, that is it. Good to talk to you, Jess, as always.
Yes.
And we will be back next week.
Woohoo. Bye.